Well, after 25 years as a cosmetic surgeon, you can bet my next guest has just seen and heard it all. But what journey has a woman taken in life that led her to his operating table? Was it a spur-of-the-moment decision, or one made after years of looking at the bump on her nose or the breasts that don't seem quite perky enough after having children? Or was it an emotional decision made after a life tragedy? Dr. Jim English and Dr. Betty Hubbard wrote this book. It's called Reflections of the Heart, Stories from a Cosmetic Surgeon's Practice, where the women themselves answer those questions. And it's really fascinating stuff. As part of our book author series, they are with us this morning, along with Kate, one of the patients featured in the book. Good morning to all of you.
Good morning, Daniela.
And I want to start with you, Dr. Hubbard, because I find it so interesting that thousands of women every year go under the knife. We know that, but we don't know the reasons why, the reasons behind their decision. Who did you write the book for?
We wrote the book for women, hoping that women who were considering cosmetic surgery or who had questions about it could get those questions answered. We also wrote it as a way to give a voice to women so that they would be able to share their experiences related to cosmetic surgery.
And I know, Dr. Hubbard, you're a certified health education specialist, and you helped with the interviews for the book
Yes.
along with Dr. English. And Dr. English, I want to ask you, what do women need to know about cosmetic surgery?
They need to know what is available and what is not available. There's so much out there in the media. And we wrote this book, co-authored this book, to be able to empower women to know what is actually something that they can get from having surgery and what is not available from having surgery.
What do you mean by that?
What is not available? We can hopefully improve the quality of life, but we can improve the quantity of life. We cannot take a bad relationship and make it better. But what we can do is transform what's on the inside. And one of the vignettes in the book, it talks about, I knew one of my patients for quite some time, and I said, my goal for you is to bring out who you are on the inside to where you're at now on the outside.
All right, and I know Kate was one of your patients, and you look amazing, by the way. I want to ask you, what did you have done, and what was your motivation, Kate?
I had a complete facelift. He can tell you all the details, but all the, he probably took 15, 18 years away from me. My motivation was I was 50 years old. I woke up one morning, divorced, been after 32 years of marriage, needed to get a career going. I was competing with kids right out of college and 30-year-olds, and there I was old. I needed to be able to compete, so that was the reason I had it done.
When you walked into his office, did you walk into his office because you wanted a physical transformation, or was there some emotional stuff going on there as well?
Oh, it was emotional. It was when I first walked in. Of course, I knew about his reputation, and I knew who I was going to use. I said, I look like my mother. And when I look in the mirror, I look like my mother, and she was mean. I don't want to look like my mother. So we started with the eyes, and then we went from there.
It's interesting because, just kind of piggybacking off of what Kate said, in the book, I have to tell you, for me, one of the most fascinating parts, the before and afters, and I think everybody likes to see them,
right.
But in your particular book, they really were quite dramatic. In fact, the chapter of that particular section is called Amazing Transformations. We're talking about facelifts, body contouring, eyelid surgery, nose surgery, tummy tucks. When a woman walks in and she says, okay, I want this done, let's say it is, a tummy tuck, and that was an amazing before and after that I saw in your book. Are you ever surprised, Dr. English, at their motivation?
When we came up with the idea of the book, we really wanted to be able to profile certain stories. Some of the stories are fairly routine. We hear them over and over again. I've had children. I don't look like I did when I was first married. But some of the stories are completely different, as Kate's story. And so one of the things is that I enjoy listening to the stories, and it helps me to give better insight into what it is that they want, so that when I make my surgical recommendations, then they're more tailored to suit their needs than not.
What do you hope that women get out of the book?
Again, empowerment. It is an educational tool, but again, I want you to look at the before and afters and see what is potentially possible. There is so much bad publicity out there in the media, and this is a down-to-earth piece, and we'd like for the women out there to enjoy its read. And if there's any questions, just let us know what they are.
Kate, how has this affected or changed your life?
I have so much more confidence in every part. I mean, I was in a relationship where he said, "You're disgusting to look at." I don't feel that way anymore.
How you like me now?
Exactly.
I don't think he's saying that. He's saying that now. So having said that, Dr. Hubbard, do you think the book dispels some of the myths about cosmetic surgery?
We hope that it does, and we hope that it provides some insight for women. Everyone's story is different. Everyone has a different motivation, but the end result, we hope, is to improve quality of life for women who decide to make the decision to have cosmetic surgery.
Well, Kate, thank you so much for sharing your story. And doctors, thank you so much for writing the book. Very fascinating stuff.
Thank you so very much for
Absolutely.
having us.
And again, the book is called Reflections of the Heart, Stories from a Cosmetic Surgeon's Practice. For more information on the book, please visit his website. It is surgeoncosmetic.com.